Brother Lim. Good evening, Brother Lim. Do you mind to put us on Facebook? Thank you.
And Sister Alena already in Facebook already.
All right, thank you. Thank you, brother. Yeah. Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mita Suki Hontu and Namo Buddhaya. I'm Aliana. Welcome to TRV Friday Sutta discussion by Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima. Before I go to today's topic, TRV would like to announce that on the 24th August 2024, TRV has arranged one-day retreat by Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima with topic Metta Retreat on the unlimited loving kindness. This retreat is a non-stay retreat, starts from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. on the same day. For more information regarding to the retreat and registration, please check on our Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook page and Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook page or please contact the Vihara directly on 018-382-3132. Now let's go to today's class topic. This is the day 109 of the Sutta discussion class. Tonight is the 7th class of Dhajagga Sutta with topic Dhamma's great qualities, number 4 till 6. Dhajagga Sutta is the 10th sutta from the total of 10 sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this Sutta discussion class. In previous classes, Bhante has discussed about Mangala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, Metta Sutta, Sigalowada Sutta, Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta, Sabbasawa Sutta, Patakama Sutta, Patama Samajivi Sutta, and Alawaka Sutta, which Bhante has elaborated those sutta in depth. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapardana Klang's Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 108 classes there. We are always welcoming newcomers, therefore whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapardana Klang's Facebook Messenger, or can contact the Vihara directly through WhatsApp. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima, is the Associate Editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, or JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn Raja Vidyalaya University in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, or CSRS, at University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also a Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada from year 2012 to 2016. Bhante currently is the advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dhamma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussion, Dhamma talks, and a variety of other Dhamma activities. His Dhamma works can be accessed at www.patisota.blogspot.com, and we can also follow Bhante at Patisota Facebook account. Without further ado, Bhante, welcome once again, and thank you very much for the wonderful guidance and teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana, for the introduction. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to Friday Sutta discussion hosted by TRV Amapadana Temple. So before we get started, shall we pay respect to the Buddha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so today we have Lim, Maliana, Margaret, Tan, Kim, Nine, Chen, Kelvin, Melinda, Cindy, Tracy Lim, Sumita, Kim Neo, Barbara, Jess, Corina, Julie, Him, Ang, Sita, Dihan, and yeah, many others. All right, so we are supposed to discuss about the last three qualities in the Dhamma. So far, we have discussed three qualities of the Dhamma. They were Swakhato, Sanditiko, and Akaliko. Can somebody tell me why we are discussing these qualities? What is the context of these qualities actually? We understand Buddha has 9 great qualities and Dhamma has 6 great qualities and Sangha members have 9 great qualities. But why are we discussing these qualities now? We are at the last 3 of the Dhamma's qualities. Why are we discussing these things? What is the context of discussing of these Dhamma's qualities? Can someone think about why? It is because the Buddha said to Devas that I think this is not even common to Devas. We can even follow. If you come up with a fear, terror, or any other negative emotion, at that point you can initially think about the 9 great qualities of the Buddha. Itipiso Bhagavarahansa. Not just saying it as a prayer. Thinking about why is the Buddha Arahant, why is the Buddha Samma Sambuddho, why is the Buddha Vichacharana Sampanno, why is the Buddha Sugato, why is the Buddha Lokavidu. So having an understanding about these 9 great qualities each will help us reduce our negative emotions. Because how does it happen? Is it just by merely reciting those words? No. When we are understanding more about the context of these 9 great qualities, then we are creating a fearless state of mind. That fearless state of mind is what helps us to overcome the fear and other negative emotions initially. Let's say, even after thinking about the context of these 9 great qualities, we still have fear and all that. At that point, the Buddha asks us to think about the Dhamma's great qualities, right? That is how we are discussing Dhamma. So, noche buddhang sareyata, so and so forth, the Buddha said, then you have to think about Dhamma. So, when we are thinking about Dhamma, we need to understand what these each qualities actually mean in the context of understanding what is Dhamma. And we discuss 3 qualities of the Dhamma: Swakhato, Sanditiko, Akaliko. Swakhato means the Dhamma is well spoken, well described. We don't have to believe it by mere blind faith. We have to read, we have to understand. If we have a question, we have to ask from the relevant teachers. We have to read, right? We are not merely accepting what is written, because the Pitaka has been coming from many centuries, right? When something has been coming for many centuries, so we have to give our own search, intellectual understanding as well. And then Sanditiko means Sanditiko.
Profound.
We need to
Profound.
Sorry?
Kindness.
Sanditiko means Dhamma has to be tested.
To be examined, to understand.
Dhamma has to be tested in. The Dhamma has to be tested, and we have to look at it in this life, not in the next life. Right? There are people who are practicing Dhamma for the next life, aren't they? If you look at many devotees, they are practicing Dhamma for the next life. I need to collect karma, good karma, That's why I had to go to the temple, right? I need to create only merits. That's why I want to meditate. So they are doing it for the next life, right? We don't have to worry about the next life if we are really good in this life, isn't it? If we are good people in this life, the next life will be automatically good. But if you are doing everything for the next life, then you might not be thinking about how to become a better person in this life. Right? So that's why Sanditiko, Dhamma has to be tested and then used in this life. And then Akaliko. Akaliko means it is timeless.
Timeless Dhamma is a new universal teaching.
The Buddha's Dhamma is a universal teaching.
Yes.
So when it is said as a universal teaching, what does it mean? It means that we need to universalize the essence of the Dhamma. How to universalize? Now, when you read some of the suttas, you may find the Buddha talks about dogs, goats, cows, some Brahmins, bankers, kings, right? So it's a society that he had to, live. And then sometimes we see certain, notions that he had at that time. So when we are universalizing the true Dhamma, then we have to understand how to put that cultural version that is attached to the Dhamma within our modern context. So Akaliko, although Akaliko means it is universal, but when we are practicing, we have to understand on what conditions are we going to practice the essence of the Dhamma. People, they don't deal with it very well. They are all going back to the Indian society at that time, right? Yes, we understand. We have to understand it, but we have to then bring those conditions in the present world, in our present life situations. Now, one thing is, in today's world, everybody is very impatient to get things done. Why is it? Things have been very quick because of the technology. Food is very quick. At that time, people had to do a lot of things to get food. Now, easy bites, quick stuff, right? And people can buy things very fast. Money has been digital, right? And then transportation has been very quick, right? There are a lot of things. So conditions have changed. So how to understand Akaliko part within the changed conditions? That is a thing to bring it to Akaliko. While Dhamma is universalized, how to understand the universalized nature of the Dhamma? Essence is there, but how to bring the modern conditions, how to understand them with the essence of the Dhamma? So that is up to us. Akaliko. And today we are discussing about the last three. What are the last three qualities of the Dhamma? You can see over here. Okay, ehi passiko. Ehi passiko, openaiko, pacchattan vedi, tabbo vinduhi. There are three. Okay. Ehi passiko. It's a very popular Pali word which has been used by many centers too. Ehi passiko. Ehi means, what does ehi means? Ehi. Ehi means come. Gaccha means
Go.
go. Ehi, come. Gaccha means go. Agaccha means agach, come back.
Come back.
Come back. Don't say gaccha. Say
Okay.
agach. Welcome back. Because we would like to say to people, see you again, that's better than say, hey, go. Agach, come back, right? So ehi means come. But why is it said as ehi? Because passiko. Passiko means come and see. So now you need to understand this is the way how we have to spread the Dhamma in today's world. You can't say this Dhamma is the best, Buddha is the best, Buddha may be the best, but Buddha is the best, you must come and see. What if you put must part, should part to the come and see? That will be a totally different message. Never ever say must, you must be a Buddhist, you should be a Buddhist. No, come and see, you decide. This is the same way how the Buddha talked to people. Remember, there was one incident. There was a very famous Nigantas supporters, Jain supporters. If I'm correct, his name was Upali. He came to the Buddha and then he was having a discussion with the Buddha about what could be the most important door. We normally call body is a door, mind is a door, speech is a door. That means we are creating kusala and akusala through them. Which is more powerful? Which should be more concerned? And then he said, the Jains, Nigandanatha Buddha says that body is the most concerned sense media that one has to be careful. And the Buddha said, no, body, that means actions and speeches come from the mind. Our actions are secondary activities of the mind's activity of something. Our speeches are mostly coming from the activities of the mind. So I say it is not the body that is the strongest, that is to be concerned in our sense media, sensory experience, but the mind. Then he was explaining one by one, the Buddha. And at the end, Upali told the Buddha, Bhante, I think now I'm so happy about this teaching. Tomorrow, maybe from tomorrow, or maybe from today, Ajatagge, from today, I want to declare that I became a Buddhist. I became a Buddhist to my followers and others, because I'm a rich person. I'm a staunch supporter of the Mahavira, Nigandanatha. And then the Buddha said, no need. You don't need to declare like that. You just become your Jain fellowship. You just become a Jain devotee in the Jain temple. But you follow Buddhism. That's an interesting way to, I think, spread Buddhism. Sometimes there are people who are coming from other religions to Buddhism. And we are never saying that you must be a Buddhist to follow this. You keep this happens in the West. You keep your whatever XYZ religions, but you can practice Buddhism. You don't have to be a Buddhist to practice Buddhism. What a very interesting way to promote the idea. I mean, it's not a promotion, but this is what the Buddha said. You don't have to be declaring that I became a Buddhist, right? And so this opens up for a different discussion that it is possible to become a Buddhist by having a primary religion in hand, right? Because practice. And then there was another incident that we see in the Sutta Nipata, if I'm correct. In this sutta, one Deva came to see the Buddha and then told the Buddha, Bhante, I'm not your follower. I was not your follower before I became a Deva. I was a different religious teacher. In Indian philosophical tradition, I was a different ascetic, actually. I practiced my own practices, but I practice a certain ideology, certain ideas about being a monk in my own tradition. I just wanted to share with you because I followed my own, uh, you know, philosophical understanding about life. I became a deva. So I wanted to share with you that this is what I follow. You know what happened? Devas come at night. Uh, Next day, early morning, Buddha was giving a Dhamma talk, and the Buddha was telling the monks, this particular samana became a deva by following these things. You also should follow these particular teachings which he followed to become a deva. Very interesting. That means how tolerant is he and how innovative, how accepting was he about other religious traditions. Whatever is good, and he was open to discuss about it, right? So, ehipassiko quality has to be understood from a very larger, broader perspective. Let's say there is someone in your circles, maybe not a Buddhist, but simply want to know about Buddhism, how to become a practitioner. You don't have to say that you must be a Buddhist. If he or she wants to be a Buddhist, that's a different thing. But let's say that person has family roots to another religion and cultural roots to another religion. So you can't change. You don't have to change. Never change people. And we never want to convert people to Buddhism. We can always say that Buddhism is a way of life. It's neither a philosophy nor a religion. This is the best way to interpret. It is not an ism. Say Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Judaism. It's not an ism. No ISM. But when the people who are studying about religion, they are doing their research, the writers, so-called writers about religiosity, when they are writing Buddhism also as an ism, Buddhism. But it is neither a philosophy as a whole. There are philosophical elements here and there. But as a whole, it is neither. Buddhism is, the Buddha's teachings are neither a philosophy nor a religion. Religion has a perspective, good and faith. Philosophy has, when you study philosophy, philosophers don't want to come to a certain conclusion. Philosophers always think that everything has some kind of an ambiguity, some kind of a complication. They want to study more and more. Buddhism, the Buddha's teachings don't have that kind of nature as a whole. But if you look at certain areas, yes, you can see some of the philosophical things. But as a whole, Buddha's teachings are a way of life. Anybody can follow. Anybody can take them into their life. Primarily, they might come from a different religion, but they can practice it. We see that in the West. Some of the other XYZ religious people come to a Buddhist center, practice meditation, don't want to become a Buddhist, but want to practice meditation, want to learn about the Buddha. But cultural roots, family roots, they all go back to their own religious traditions. So what I can share with you about Ehipassiko in our Asian context, and as a whole is that we have to understand that Buddhism is neither a philosophy nor a religion. It's a way of life. If you want to become a successful layperson, then there is a way to go. And then if you want to become a little bit of serious person about the Buddhist Dhamma, there's a way to become a Sangha member, whoever. And if you don't want either of them, you simply want to become a Deva one day, and you know what you do. I think a lot of people do that. They want to collect merits all the time. So there are multiple ways to look at it. But we tell people, don't think about the next life. Definitely we are reborn. Become a better person each moment. Not on the new moon day, on the full moon day, not on the Vesak day, Katna day, temple chanting day, every moment, 365, 24/7. That is being a Buddha's follower, right? So it's like those people, they are very good, but when it comes to the akusalas, they are making akusalas, right? Because they think making akusala can happen at a time, but we are making sure that Akusalas have to be low and kusalas have to be high as much as we can. Ehi passiko. This also goes to the canon text. So nowadays, I think you might be thinking that where can we see the true text? I think somebody over here shared some of the books of certain Buddhist canonical texts. There are different websites, canonical texts, but keep in mind, in order for us to understand a certain, first we have to understand what is early Buddhism, just to be on the safer side of the teachings. Because if you are trying to learn Abhidhamma in the first place, I don't think that's a good idea. If you are going to learn Visuddhimagga in the first place, I don't think it's a good idea. If you are going to learn a very serious another Buddhist traditional book in the first place, that might not be a good idea, because those are works that have been compiled after the early Buddhism. So better to learn early Buddhism first. I would say Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, and Anguttara Nikaya, and those kind of stuff. Then if you have time, you can read them too, the books, Abhidhamma and all that. But your first point of reference is those Nikayas. Whatever you read, you need to understand, as I said earlier, with regard to the Kaliko, how does the canon, the whatever Dhamma Vinaya, this part, relate to us in our life? This is very important, right? So you have to always make sure that you understand the conditions. So Ehipassiko basically means that we are not having an authority. Have you seen there are people who are always thinking, where did the Buddha say this? Yes, it's good to take a look. Go and take a look of the sutta. But sometimes we find a sutta, right? We see the certain, what you call the reference, but we don't feel that this is really related to us in today's world. We are not disrespecting anything in the Tripitaka. But what I'm saying is that, say for instance, we have to use common sense also at certain points. Now there is a sutta called, I think, Vasetta or Asalayana in Majjhima Nikaya. In one of these suttas, it is said that the Brahmins are even inferior than the dogs. Brahmins are inferior than the dogs, said by the Buddha. Now, our common sense is why Buddha wanted to use dogs to talk about the Brahmins. Now we have a suspicion, because some of the suttas have been taken up by the unenlightened monks after the Buddha's period, and they had issues with the caste. Because different people became monks after the Buddha's passing away. So there were people who came from the lower caste in India. So they have a certain built-in anger, frustration towards the high caste in India. So they were using that. Maybe, we never know. Because Buddha didn't want to use that kind of an analogy to talk about the Brahmins. I mean, the common sense, if he talks about we have to practice metta to everyone, every being, unconditionally. So there are suttas like that, and then some or very few suttas maybe we have to search more. I'm trying to tell you to pay attention when you understand certain suttas, whether they were influenced by the frustration of some of the low caste individuals who became monks later on, and then they interpreted this way. And sometimes there are suttas we see that the woman has been demonized, the womanhood actually. The womanhood is such a strong karmic influence to become an arahant. Why are these teachings embedded in some of the unknown suttas? There are a lot of suttas like that. Because if you are really following Dhamma, you don't need to worry about the gender of anybody, right? A man, woman, you don't care about it. Right? I'm talking from a modern condition. So it is not just the womanhood or the manhood, it's just our mind. So when we read the suttas, that's why I'm telling you, you can't just read it by yourself for the most times. Kindly approach a good teacher, ask, what is this? Is this, I feel something not making sense in my whole reading. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just ask from an expert. Sometimes this happens, right? It's like you read some medical information on eWeb or Cleveland Clinic or Mayo Clinic. You're not a doctor. You read cancer, this, that, this, and you self-absorb information. But you ask a doctor, oh, this is not how I read. Because you are not an expert. You only read the information, free information. Some information even were not verified by an expert. So when you understand, come and see, it is not even the way how we spread the Dhamma. It is not even the way how we invite someone to come and read. It is also how to understand the text in the proper way, with the proper conditions and all that. So Ehipassiko has to be that kind of a very interesting quality. Any questions about Ehipassiko quality? Any question? Ehipassiko. Passiko means see. All right, save your questions. And then we are going to the next quality, the fifth quality. It means, so once again, I want to translate this. Come and see. Come and see means that inviting investigation. Inviting investigation. You might think, what kind of a wordling, unenlightened person am I? And you are. But we need a kind of an investigation in terms of the Dhamma, right? Because that helps us to understand Dhamma in the proper way. Then open eye, right? The fifth quality is open eye. Open eye means, the translation is, pertinent. But a better translation of open eye is that we have to bring Dhamma to us. Open eye. Upane tabbat. Bring Dhamma closer to our life. Dhamma has to be brought closer to our life. Is this happening with many devotees, many people who are following the Dhamma teachings? There are different people who are practicing Dhamma in different ways, right? There are different people practice Dhamma in different ways. Sometimes there are people who are, thinking that probably helping a vihara is the best way to do it. Sometimes this could be facilitating a certain event in a certain place. Sometimes they have their own way of practicing Dhamma, right? But regardless of how they practice, it is important to bring Dhamma closer to their life. How to bring Dhamma closer to our life? Let me ask you, what do you think about it? Now we know the Dhamma, we know Eightfold Noble Eightfold Path, we know other teachings, we know Brahma Viharas, right? So how to bring these precious, very important, valuable teachings into our life, our daily life? How to bring them closer? Sometimes we read them far from books and studies, but how to bring them closer to our life? Or how to bring us closer to the Dhamma?
Bhante,
Yes.
since there is Dhamma everywhere, to bring it closer, I feel we should, whatever we do, we automatically bring in into our action this Dhamma principles or practices already. So it's like inbuilt into us already. Is that what it means?
Is Dhamma built in our life?
Yes, to build in Dhamma into our life so that when we practice it, or when you have your normal actions, there is already Dhamma in practice, incorporated into our daily activities, speech, thoughts, and actions, especially. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is how you think, right? I mean, different people think. That's why I'm asking now. I'm asking now. Opanayiko means upanetabhati opanayiko. Upanetabha means netabha means bring. Upanetabha means upa means closer. Bringing Dhamma has to be brought nearer to our life, closer to our real life. Huh? Real life. Now we have different types of thinking about the life. How to bring Dhamma nearer to our life, or better way is that how to bring us closer to the Dhamma. People are deviating all the time. So better to say how to bring us nearer to the Dhamma. Right? Not that Dhamma has to come to me. I have to go after Dhamma. Right? Yes, Aliana, I think you said something here by practicing Yoniso Manasikara, analyzing our thoughts, action. Yeah. Yoniso Manasikara is the very first thing that we have to do in our practice. Right? Yoniso Manasikara is the first thing we have to do. Why is it? This is why, by not understanding the Yoniso Manasikara is the problem of our life. The problem of our practice. What is Yoniso Manasikara? Yeah. Yes, Dhamma has to guide us and we have to be guided by Dhamma. But we have to get into the practical side. On the practical side, it is not just understanding theory all the time. On the practical side, the first thing is to understand Yoniso Manasikara and practice it. Yoniso Manasikara means being able to see anything down to its origin or from its origin. Isn't this the problem that we are having in our daily life? Arguments, getting angry, learning a lot of Dhamma, but whenever you are getting angry, you don't even think about what you learn. Why is it? A good amount of Yoniso Manasikara practice has not gone to your normal life. But you learn. You learn. Every day you learn. You go there, you learn. You go here, learn. You read books, you learn. But it hasn't gone to your life. Then people become people who are having heavy baggage over the head. When you have a heavy baggage over the head, you can't even walk, right? Dhamma has been a heavy baggage over the head. You can't even walk, and asking, hey, why can't you walk? You are walking very well. Previously, Dhamma, a lot of suttas are here. I'm carrying a lot of knowledge. Why? Because it has just become a knowledge. It has not realized, it has not materialized in the life. So, Yoniso Manasikara is the first one. That means whenever someone is going to make us angry, what are we supposed to do? Because of mana, conceit, because of sakkaya, mainly ego, we are going to respond to the same person with the same attitude. But if we have Yoniso Manasikara, no, this is not the way I am supposed to respond to this person. If I respond to the same person in anger, that means I have not understood Dhamma in the proper way. So I have to bring Yoniso Manasikara to understand what's going on in my life, what's going on with other people in my life. So I think I already shared with you a long time ago. I think we did a retreat also at Ti-Ratana Vihara. I think the last retreat, Wise Attention, we discussed that having Yoniso Manasikara is like understanding an iceberg in the ocean. You know, iceberg in the ocean. You see the tip of the iceberg, you know, on the surface, above the surface. And then you don't see the full spectrum of the iceberg, which is below the ocean level. So I think in our life, we are only seeing a fraction of the problem or anything. Even we are happy, even we are unhappy, angry, kind, unkind, whatever. we are only we are developing emotions onto them only by looking at a fraction of the matter. And then we are creating sanya, we are creating, then sanya means memories, we are creating then sankhara, karma, bad karma, good karma, mostly bad karma. And then we are creating unnecessary thoughts in this life and for the rest. So the Buddha says that if we have the Yoniso Manasikara, we are developing an ability to see everything in a full spectrum. So we have a better understanding of ourselves. Normally our problem in our many activities is not having even a basic understanding about the full issue. We are trying to pick on a certain area of the matter, and then we are trying to argue with other people. We are trying to we are trying not to tolerate with other people. These are with people, and also creating an understanding, creating an idea about certain things. There are people, when they become angry, they are not even talking for 3-4 years sometimes. Have you seen that? How pathetic are they? How they been keeping the anger for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, sometimes 10 years. Sometimes that person dies with that thought. But the other person already dropped everything. He or she has nothing about you. But you are bringing, those people are bringing those things. Why? No, you only so much can. Right? If you let go, that means you must let go. Right? If you cannot let go, don't let it go. Don't do things that you cannot do. Right? Is letting go very easy? Yeah, it is not that easy as you think about. If you cannot let it go, then do the good thing about understanding the problem. Let's say you cannot let go of something. Somebody, you have a lot of emotions attached to this person, maybe something that is inanimate. Then you understand, you try to reduce your greed about it, not let go. It's like you are asking someone, hey, you are a heavy smoker. You should stop smoking from today completely. Can that smoker do that? No. If you are having 7 cigarettes a week, cut down to 4 cigarettes for about like 2-3 months. Maybe you cut down to 3 cigarettes over the course of 4 months. It should be a gradual decrease that we need to bring into our akusala life. If we have an akusala life, we cannot get rid of akusala life in 1 day, in 1 month, 2-3 months. So we have to have a plan for it. So we're going to do it slowly, gradually. Letting go is the same. If you cannot let go, then understand the opposite of what you are supposed to do. Right? So going back, Yoniso Manasikara is the first thing. If you haven't done that, you haven't even started your practice. If you haven't practiced Yoniso Manasikara so far, which means a clear indication, I tell you honestly, that you haven't even started your Dhamma journey. Believe me, you haven't yet started. But if you know Yoniso Manasikara, you haven't practiced, that is even very shameful, very embarrassing, in your Dhamma practice. You know it, but you have not even put into practice. Something like, a book you borrowed from a library, you had to bring it back. So, yeah, that's the first thing. And then the rest of the things are easy to go. Samma Ditti, right view, Samma Sankappa, right thought, Samma Vacha, right speech, Samma Kammanta, right action, Samma Ajiva, right living, Samma Vayam, right effort, Samma Sati, right mindfulness, Samma Samadhi, right cause. So all these are arising, especially Samma Ditti, That's the first part, because of an adequate practice of Yoniso Manasikara. So this is the first thing you need to do in order to bring Dhamma closer to you, in order to you go closer to the Dhamma, right? The first thing. You may have your own answers, looking at the Buddha statue, going to a vihara. Yes, they are good things. They are not bad things. But at the end, what is more important is whether you have been able to bring yourself to the true Dhamma. Right? True Dhamma means starting your Dhamma practice, Yoniso Manasikara, and then following the Noble Eightfold Path. Any questions about this too? Okay, just keep your questions, save your questions. Okay, and then we are going to the last quality. The last quality is very interesting. It is said that Pachattam Veditabbo Vinyohi. Okay. Vinyo means, who are the Vinyos? Vinyo means, I think it is wise people.
Yeah.
Who is a wise person? Now, there are different types of interpretations about who should be considered as wise people. Now, we understand that initially, wise person is someone who has less 5 hindrances, right? Including abhijja, abhijja and visamalobha. What do you call? Abhijja means greed for what one has, and visamalobha means greed for what other people have. So someone who is trying to cutting down on those two types of lobha, and then at the same time that person is going to minimize, decrease ill will, thoughts of killing other people, destroying other people, and then someone who is trying to overcome sloth and laziness in terms of having kusala thoughts. Someone who is trying to overcome regret and restlessness and regret, uddhacca. Someone who is trying to overcome doubts. This is the layperson's wisdom. I think we discussed that. Where did we discuss this? In a previous sutta. We discussed this under the Pattakama Sutta. Panya Sampada. We discussed it under the Pattakama Sutta. But if we look at a sutta like Sevitabba Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, go to that sutta here. See that? Okay, Majjhima Nikaya 114. This kind of a sutta. We will understand that the Buddha has a clear indication of a wise person. Now, overall, what is happening when you are a wise person is that whatever the thoughts that you are having are going to be wholesome, kusala thoughts. That means you are having less akusala thoughts. Now, you can do a self-check-in with this idea. Are you someone who is always having akusala thoughts, or who is having some kusala thoughts at the very least, time to time? There are people who are always coming up with akusala thoughts. So much greed, so much ill will, so much, what do you call, wrong view, right? So we should be some sappurisa, I would say a wise person is someone who has very less covetousness, abhijja, and then ill will and wrong view. And at the same time, a wise person is someone who is always naturally speaking, what do you call, true words, no lying over there with that person, who is always trying to bring people together, not trying to divide others, not trying to backbite, at the same time who is always trying to use very pleasant words, and then who is trying to always talk about words that are relevant to the time, the wholesome, timely words. Are you someone like that? Or are you someone who is time to time showing some qualities of a liar? Or are you very careful whether you lie or not? Are you someone who is time to time dividing people, even in your family? You talk something to someone, talk something to another person, different thing, trying to divide people? Or are you someone whose words are very harsh, right? Whose words are very unpleasant? Are you someone who is uh, having words of not relevant to other people, wasting your time? So a wise person is always speaking the truth, always bringing people together in his or her speech, and always trying to be pleasant in his or her speech, and then always trying to speak words that are timely and then beneficial, right? But there are people who are very nice to other people, but sometimes they are going to be mean to others. Have you seen such people? They are creating, I have so much patience, but because of this person, I lost my temper. That is not a good practice, right? Dhamma has to be there all the time, right? Otherwise, this will be a Dhamma talk in a vihara. You are good in that 1 hour. After that 1 hour, you go back to the default, which is not nice, right? Your default has to be good. You have to be a person of natural, uh, you know, natural good, right? And then wise person's actions are naturally good, not killing, always trying to take care of other people, always trying to take care of what other people have, always trying to take care of, other people relationships, respecting others. Right? So a wise person is someone who is always trying. He might not be perfect, always trying to have good thoughts, good speeches, and then good actions. Thereby, a vinyu can be seen. If you are lucky enough, you will see a vinyu person. That means a wise person. Now, in order for you to learn Dhamma, you have to be a wise person, right? That means you should have some sort of wisdom in the lay life. Without the wisdom, you are not able to understand, practice the Yoniso Manasikara and the rest. Right? That is important. Now the Buddha says here, under the sixth quality, that Pachattam Veditabbu Vinyu. Vinyu means wise people. Pachattam. Pachattam means individually. Veditabbu should understand Dhamma. By becoming a wise person, you have to individually learn the Dhamma. What does it mean? Now you are learning Dhamma as a group, isn't it? Now we have people over here. So you are learning Dhamma as a group. How does Dhamma work out in your life? I think you have a lot of inspiration when you are learning Dhamma as a group, but how it works out, how is it going to work to you for your practice? You need to practice it individually. Your group practice will become a solo practice to make it more productive, efficient, and effective, right? So now this should not be misunderstood. There are people who might misunderstand this in a way that I learned Dhamma in my own way. You don't have to worry about it. And that is not a good way to discuss about it. When you are learning Dhamma, you have to be willing to learn from others too. Right? Sometimes you don't like it, but it is good to learn about it, right? Now, say for instance, you take the story of Kisa Gautami. Now, in the Kisa Gautami story, what we learn is that the Buddha asked Kisa Gautami to go and find some mustard, isn't it? Some mustard from a house nobody has pasted. But the Thai version is not mustard, something like salt. So now when you understand this, who cares about the mustard or the salt? We take the idea. It can be salt, it can be mustard. Somebody else might say it could be a vegetable, right? The most important thing is the idea. That's why we don't have to argue with others. Sometimes when you read a lot of suttas, you might be coming to a certain perfectionist place. Tell me the sutta. Which sutta? Where? Which nikaya? Right? And then it has been kind of a knowledge struggle, knowledge competition, Dhamma knowledge competition. Yes, we do our reference, but when we are learning it in our real practice, we don't worry about XYZ things a lot. We are looking at it from a broader perspective. Otherwise, we are not able to understand it. I remember there was an incident about this particular Kisa Gautami story, and two people were clashing in a certain place that, no, Buddha said master, the other one said, no, it is salt. Right? And I think about the Zen story, two meditators. There were two meditators, they were meditating and they saw one flag was waving in the sky. And then one was arguing, oh, it is because it is the wind that waves the flag, shakes the flag. And the other person was arguing, no, it is the flag that moves the wind. And the master was looking at both of them. Okay, you are taking this side, you are taking this. It is neither the flag nor the wind, it is your mind that moves. Very interesting. Why we want to take sides? We don't have to take sides. Right? We are trying to understand the truth, the reality. Reality has no sides, rather a bigger understanding of what's going on. Right? Now, when the monks were arguing by being onto two sets, if you go to the washroom, keep some water for the other person. The other group said, no, if you go to the washroom, you are supposed to just do your thing and you go. You don't have to keep water. And the Buddha said, this is a very petty argument. You don't have to have this kind of argument. Right? You drop this argument. Actually, this happens. There are people who go to the washroom, they take care of it. Other people might not. But you don't have to argue over this thing. Right? So in the same way, we need to understand that when you are a wise person, how to become a wise person? By removing the 5 nivaranas as much as you can. And then bringing that understanding onto a level where you are going to have 0 akusala thoughts, 0 akusala speech, and 0 akusala actions. And thereby you are becoming a wise person. Then you can understand Dhamma individually without a clash. Okay, then what's happening here is that noche mang anusareyat. If you Atta dhammang anusareyat. If you cannot recollect me, if you cannot by thinking about me, if any fear, terror, or anything did not go away by thinking about myself, the Buddha, then the Buddha asks, Atta dhammang anusareyat. Then you can recollect the Dhamma. Right? How to recollect the Dhamma is by understanding the 6 contexts of these 6 qualities. And then the Buddha says, Dhammang hivo bhikkhave anusaratan. When you recollect the qualities of the Dhamma, 6 qualities of the Dhamma, yang bhavisati bhayang va chambitatang. If there arises any fear, any terror or any horripilation, goosebumps or any butterflies, those emotions will go away. They will be managed. So in order for you to manage or maybe to overcome these negative emotions, you should have a good understanding about the 6 Dhamma qualities. All right, any questions now? I mean, overall about Dhamma, and then we can discuss more about them. In particular, we discuss about the 3 things today, 3 qualities. Ehipasiko, Opanaiko, Pachatang Veditapo. You can also ask about the rest of the qualities too, or the context.
Bhante, the Opanaiko, some has been translated as leading onwards.
Leaning onwards, yeah,
Yeah.
that is also bringing yourself closer to them. Actually, the Pali translation about Opanaiko means Upanetabhati. Upaneti. Neti means drive yourself, leaning towards. Upa means near.
Yeah.
Pali prefix Upa means near.
There were some explanations is that mentioned that leading onwards means leading towards emancipation.
Leading towards what?
Emancipation, Nibbana.
Now then we have to discuss about emancipation. This is a very Christian word. That means the God has to give us the emancipation, right? Like redemption. It's kind of a little bit difficult word to understand with the Dhamma. Anyways, leaning towards means, yes, the idea is correct. That means you are leaning towards the Dhamma. You are leading towards the path, right? Only by starting it with Yoniso Manasikara. Yeah. Yes. I think a very simple translation could be bringing you closer. That's pretty easy. You don't have to go to very Protestant translation, very Protestant and very complicated translations about it.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
No, but the problem is, Bhante, the translation is found in the chanting books.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
even chanting books. There are many places.
Yeah.
Because only when you learn some Pali, you understand this could not be the meaning of this particular Pali word. Now, actually, there are some people who are using, now we are going to emancipate. You check what is emancipation. Emancipation means someone is trying to get what the God is trying to grant us. So the context of emancipation is definitely not Buddhist friendly.
Okay.
Like a redemption,
Okay.
They are just using it because nobody is trying to say anything about it because they don't know what it is. It's like the English word priest, P-R-I-E-S-T, using for a monk. So we have Buddhist priests in our temple. Who is a priest? Priest is someone who is connecting the connection between the God and the human, the devotee. And monk is not going to connect making the bridge between the devotee and the God. That's the priest, right? So there are things to learn about it, actually, But unfortunately, some words are very built in. The people have culturally given the meaning to those words. So it has become a problem already. Sometimes you can't change, right?
It's stuck.
Huh?
Stuck. The word is stuck, yeah.
Culture, we have been culturally stuck.
Yeah.
So, but we have to get things moving, Otherwise, we've been stuck, stagnated. Yes, Barbara? Yes.
Bhante, the word venerable and reverend. I think there's also the word reverence. I mean, reverend is also more evangelistic, more applicable to the evangelical, while venerable is more Buddhistic usage, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me come to that point. Somebody might say, even I, doesn't matter, even I say reverend or venerable, I have the respect for you. Right? So it doesn't matter. But the thing is that I know there are people who are calling reverend uh, and venerable. I think Mahayana monks and nuns, they have been almost already used, called by venerable. And then, they are venerables, XYZ. Um, and uh, and Bhante is the famous and then the popular one. It's a Pali one. That has a bearing, Bhante. Uh, so I think it's hard to single out a better one because then again this might create another complication. Then you might even feel that I want to correct people who are using reverend at certain points. It's hard to single out. Yeah, because if you're going to single out a lot of things, we can single out philosophical things, but especially when it comes to the customary uses, what you call regular things that we do in the temple, things can be a little bit, difficult because people have been used to that, you know. Now, say for instance, devotee. Devotee. You check what is devotee. Someone who has devotion. So our Dayaka, are they devotees or they are donors? Dayaka means donor. The Pali word Dayaka means not devotee. Devotee means someone who has devotion for the God. So if we say to a monk, from tomorrow, don't call us devotee, how do I call them? Because they also know I call them as devotee. So I think this can create kind of a misunderstanding. I don't want to make that happen. So, but rather you understand how to properly understand the Dhamma teachings is better. Emancipation is not a good one. That's not a good one. That's definitely against the fundamental Dhamma thing. Don't worry about simple small things in the temple. You say there are issues, but we don't want to change them because people have been culturally used to those things. Now, say for instance, someone might think, I know some Pali, from tomorrow I don't call Bhante, Bhikkhu, hello Bhikkhu, how are you? Wow, what is this? This is very disrespectful for me. You should learn how to talk to a monk. And there will be a big issue from that day onwards, right? So that's why I think it's better to understand the issues with certain Dhamma concept in English. That is much better. There are many words like that.
So what's a better word for devotees?
No, that's the problem. This is one other issue. I think let the monks call the devotees as devotees. But we understand devotee means someone who has devotion.
Yeah.
Is devotion satta? No, you check. Devotion means the devotion for the God. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has that kind of a devotion for the God who are going to the Buddhist temple. They have respect. But Dayaka, the Pali word Dayaka, means someone who is giving, giver. Then the Buddhist monks have to start saying, oh, dear givers. Right? Really very strange, huh? So you're calling us just by giving something to the temple. That's pretty awkward, I think. And even the English term for the Dhamma, doctrine, kind of biblical canon, doctrine. A lot of words like mindfulness. Right? So we have to look at those things. They are pretty interesting, actually. Actually, if we cannot understand a proper Pali word, proper English word for the Pali word, better to use the Pali word. Now, nobody can translate Bodhi, yeah? B-O-D-H-I. So we use Bodhi.
No,
Bodhi
you
is
can use
better.
the word Dhajagga lah, Bhante.
Dhayaka means layperson. Daika means laywoman.
Yeah.
Right? Daika.
Savaka,
Savaka is like a disciple. It's a little bit of philosophical word. Yeah. Savaka. Savaka, Savika. Already, any questions about Dhamma? Because we still have some time. Yes, Ariana.
Bhante, I came to Efi there's some translation is come and prove it yourself. Some also say that if you don't no proof, then you don't believe it.
Come and
Prove it yourself.
prove it.
Proof, P-R-O-V-E. Proof.
Proof.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Prove it yourself. If it's the no proof, then don't believe it. Is it the right
I
manner?
think that's a little bit wish-washy statement, because proving Dhamma is not as easy as we think unless you are enlightened. What the Buddha is saying here is that come and see means it is an open invitation to anybody. It's not a closed invitation. Dhamma is for everybody. Right? It's a good tagline. Huh? Now, one airline is to say, everybody can fly. We feel good, huh? Those who have never, you also can fly. In the same way, Dhamma is for everybody. So then, come and see. How to prove? There are a lot of Dhamma things we cannot prove. Can you prove there are ghosts? Tell me. Still, the ghost month has not passed. Can we prove? Can we prove there are actual ghosts around us? How to prove them? Can we prove that there are devas? But every day we are saying giving good karma to deva. So I think testifying or proving part is not a good way to promote in terms of, I think what the Buddha says here is that Dhamma is for everyone. Everyone is welcome to come and learn. You may have your own thoughts. You may have your own different ways, but it's for everybody. Right? Are there any teachers who have a very close-minded invitation for their own teachings? There were people like that at the Buddha's time, right? So he made a very open invitation. There are things we can prove, like say for instance, Buddha is talking dukkha, dissatisfaction. Yeah, personally in my life I experience dukkha. Then I also experience happiness. Yeah, so there are things like that. But as a whole, we are not able to prove the higher levels of the Dhamma because we may have not come to that level. And this is for everybody. Ehi pasi.
Thank you, Bhante.
And certain things we can prove, but not everything. Verification is not available to everything. Other questions about, now we have to go back to Dhajagga Sutta now. I think we are kind of not talking a lot about Dhajagga Sutta at this point. Now we are still talking these Dhamma's qualities with an emphasis on the Dhajagga Sutta. Until you come with a question, I'm going to, okay, show this thing at the same time. Okay, now what's happening is that if by learning, if by understanding the Dhamma 6th grade quality doesn't work for you, then you are going to think about the Sangha's grade qualities, which we are going to discuss from next week. When we are learning the Dhamma's great qualities, there is something interesting that we need to understand, is that learning Dhamma from Pali is advisable. It's advisable. That is an important thing. It doesn't mean that you have to be a avid Pali reader. You have to know Pali grammar a lot. You learn from certain important Pali words. Why is it? The problems that you have about the translation can be cut in 80–90% if you know some Pali. Right? That is the most important thing. So you don't need to learn Pali grammar. Mostly you need to learn the important words, important context of the Pali. That will help you to understand. When you read any sutta, it's easy for you to understand. Can you prove there are heavens? Can you prove there is a hell? We cannot prove these things unless maybe you go to certain jhanas, unless you become an enlightened person at a certain point. Yeah. So better to say it is an open invitation to everybody in order for them to come and learn.
Bhante,
And
is,
when,
Bhante,
yes.
is the Dhamma considered higher than the Buddha?
No, there are two contexts. Buddha is giving Dhamma.
Yeah,
His message is Dhamma. So without Dhamma, he is not important.
yeah.
Right? Without Dhamma, Buddha is not important. Dhamma is his message. And when the Buddha passed away, that responsibility has passed on to the Sangha members who are living at the time. Right? So Sangha members are important to the extent that they are doing the Dhamma part. Right? Their responsibility comes from the Dhamma's value. I think Dhamma is the most important part here because Buddha is coming to teach us the Dhamma. When he passed away, Sangha members are supposed to continue the message. So Dhamma is very, very important. But the problem is just because Dhamma is going to be disseminated, things are not easy to work out. Sometimes when people are reading Dhamma, they want to trust the teacher, the Buddha, as a person, or the Sangha members, or Sangha member. That is how we understand Buddha and Sangha members. So we are taking everything equally, but without the Dhamma's message, the other two are not very important. They are interconnected.
But Bhante, will different Sangha members have different understanding of the Dhamma?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that will be confusing, isn't it, Bhante?
Different lay people also have different understanding about the Dhamma. So I don't think it's a problem. That's why I'm telling you, when a Sangha member is giving a Dhamma talk, you are participating in any good karma, you are not going there to check anybody. You are going there to learn something. If you don't feel it's good, then you take it to your understanding. And then you are looking for the true Dhamma. But never ever stop learning from anybody. Learn from all the monks. But there comes a time that you understand what is right for you, what is good for you, what is really working out for you. That is the point, right? So it's okay. Actually, Buddha also got the same criticism from people when he went to the Kalamas. They said, Bhante, there are different monks come to this village and then they are talking different things. Are you also going to do the same thing? And the Buddha said, no, I'm not going to do the same thing. I didn't come here to teach like that. But my nature of my teaching is that you are the one who has to understand what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. Actually, when Buddha said like that, the previous understanding that they had about other speakers actually were very clear. Buddha didn't say that my one is the most truthful thing. You have to understand it. You know? The true Dhamma has to be wholesome. Right? It has to be a wholesome thing. But as you said, when you are listening to certain teachings, you probably think this teaching has not been a very matured, advanced kind of teaching. That may be due to Pali knowledge, maybe not understanding the modern conditions, not reading properly, right? Now, I would tell you an interesting thing to finish, probably, if you don't have a question. There was a very famous book where they talk about Buddhist psychology. In this book, the writer says, if you have not become an arahant, okay, those who have not yet become an arahant, they all are mentally sick people. They are lunatics. Only when you become an enlightened person, arahant, you are going to be a mentally healthy person. Okay, actually, he is referring to a sutta, one of the Roganidana Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. But if you go to the Pali Sutta, now this is the important place, whether what he says is what true or something else is going in the sutta. What the Buddha says is that among the people who have not attained Nibbana, it is very difficult for us to find out someone who is not mentally healthy. That means it's very difficult to find out someone who is healthy out of the people who have not become enlightened. That means there are still people who are good people who have not become an arahant. But the person who translated in his English book that all the people who have not become arahant should be considered as mentally sick people. Why is it? He did not read the passage properly in Pali, and he took his own understanding and he wrote it. Right? So see, these are the issues that we are having. Right? Now the problem is the Pali word, dullabha. Okay. This is the Pali word. Let me show. I think we can show it to you. The importance of understanding some Pali. Okay, say for instance,
Rare, difficult to obtain.
dullabha. Dullabha. Dullabha means hard to find.
Hard to obtain, hard to find.
Hard to find. Does hard to find means no? Now when he say dullabha, the Buddha say it is very rare, hard to find someone who is mentally healthy or mentally healthy who has not become enlightened. What if someone says everybody who has not become enlightened should be regarded as mentally sick people? What a joke is this? I mean, what a misinterpretation. So this book is widely published, scholarly book by a very famous academic publisher. Now, this is the problem when we don't read the original Pali statement according to what the Pali language, Pali words meant. Right? So it's very important. When you say, I learned Dhamma, I want to practice Dhamma, then you must have or read the original text properly. Otherwise, how are you going to practice it? Right? Translations are helpful, but there are issues if you don't know a little bit of contextual Pali. All right, if you have one more question, you can ask. Otherwise, we're going to transfer the good karmas at this point. Any questions about Dhamma's 6 great qualities? All right, it seems there are no questions. So shall we then transfer the good karmas to the departed ones? May all the good karmas we've been making today by learning the last 3 qualities of the Dhamma be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti nang hutu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti nang hutu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti nang hutu sukita huntu ñātayo. At the same time, we are going to share all the good karmas with the Deva, Naga, Mahindika. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, and prosperity. May they also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya ittavata cha ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya ittavata cha ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya Akasattha Chipumatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tulukasasanang Akasattha Chipumatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tudesanang Akasattha Chipumatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tumang Paranti Chirang Rakhang Tutwan Sadanti. May we be in the company of Kalyana Mittas till we attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make a wish. Imina Punya Kammene Mami Bala Samagamu Satang Samagamu Hotu Yava Nibbana Patyam. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today we support you and help you for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa nichang vaddha pachayanu chataru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarugya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atu nibbana sampatti Iminati Samichatu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, with that wish, our Sutta discussion for today is over. And okay, so next Saturday we will be going to have a retreat, one-day retreat at Ti-Ratana Buddhist Vihara. Yes, Aliana, I think you already mentioned about it. I hope we will cancel next Friday in order for us to get ready for the retreat. Yeah, so let's postpone our Sutta discussion, which is up for next Friday because Saturday morning is our retreat. In that case, we'll be seeing each other on, when is it? 30th. 30th.
30.
So 23rd will be then cancelled and we'll be seeing all of you on 30th. Yes, so would like to see all of you, most of you in the area on 24th. 24th, yes, our third retreat at the Vihara.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you,
Good night,
Bhante. Good night.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you, everyone. Good night. Good
Bhante.
night.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Bye.
sadhu.
Thank you.
Thank you.